Hello everybody, Jade here with another video. Today we're going to be bringing you some commentary along with some crappy PvP footage. I was trying out some new recording methods. Didn't come out too good, but I kind of wanted to say what I wanted to say today. So stay tuned, and we're going to go ahead and talk about balance in Dcuo. Balance is a subject that goes deep when talking about Dcuo. The thing is this, there's a metagame in Dcuo. What I mean by metagame is that there's always going to be the top power and the lowest power, even with balance, because there's so many powers in the game. There's so many powers that are going to keep getting added to the game. And every power is going to work differently, because if they all work the same, everybody would be complaining about that. And since powers work differently, it's very hard to establish a baseline as far as to how do you balance these powers and damage output. You know, the only constant I can think of is time. So you would say that, you know, every power is going to do 50,000 damage per second over a 10-second period at XCR, right? But even then, if you were to go ahead and get that balance, and let's say you bring that slope, you bring that margin down to 2%, you know, other than the spread that there is now, which is pretty wide margin, like comparing ice and electric, for example. And you compare that slope, that's a steep slope as far as damage output. Now, if you were to go ahead and balance all the powers out, since there is a metagame, meaning that there is people out there that learn what the best thing is, no matter if the difference is 1 point in damage. If this power does 300 damage and the other one does 302, guess which one I'm using? And so is everybody else. So you just got to think about that. Yes, you can. I believe the developers should lower the margin right now. That slope is crazy wide right now as far as the difference in powers. And the game that Ventus, in his latest video, Ventus SGN Exposed, stated, which is, you know, an inspiring reason of why I'm making this video today. Because he makes really good points in his video, and I, you know, just go over there and check it out over on his channel's Ventus SGN. He makes really good points in his video. But the thing is this, if you bring true balance to the game, even though there is, let's say, a 2% difference between the top power and the bottom power, right? People are still going to find that top power. And then they'll spam that. You know, so it doesn't change the environment as in a whole. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure it would change it, because any change to Dcuo would be welcome as far as PvP and balance goes. But there's a metagame right now. To give you an example of a metagame, I was an avid and professional for a bit, you know, just a little bit, Magic player. Magic the Gathering, for those of you who don't know, is a card game, you know. So there was a point in time where I got serious about it, and I got good, and I made it all the way to the 2012 Magic World Pro Tour. No, Magic World Cup, 2012 Magic World Cup. So, and we placed second in that tournament. We did pretty good. But the way I was able to get into that tournament in the first place was because I had studied the metagame, and I found out that within the meta that it was currently running at the moment, there was a weakness in the metagame, and there was a deck within the cards that were available to play that exploited the weakness of the other deck. Well, not the other deck. I would say the other decks running the meta at the time, which in Magic the Gathering, most of the time it's between 2 or 3 decks. You know, you have 2 or 3 tier 1 top decks. If you have a really good metagame, you have more than that. If you have a bad metagame, you have one tier 1 deck, meaning that you have one deck ruling them all, meaning that if you go to a tournament, everybody's playing the same deck, and that's when bannings happen, which is when nerfs happen in DCUO. And just like in DCUO and just like in Magic the Gathering, you could have a healthy metagame. And even then, people will still gravitate and go towards what's best because, like I said, one power does 300 damage, the other one's 302. It's only a 2 damage difference, but which one are you going to choose? Because you only have limited amount of slots, you know, and X amount of time to do X damage, or you know, do what you need to do in the game to win, or you know, get the raid done. But I'm getting off track here. We're talking about balance in DCUO. Let me go back. If you bring that balance, right? If you bring that balance to DCUO, which would be welcome, and I would love to see it, still having that small margin within the game, because you're going to have it, because you have 12 or 15, I don't know, you have different powers that work differently. Some are might-based, some are precision-based, some are dot-based, some are burst damage. So they, you know, and you don't want them all doing the same kind of damage in the same type of way either. So you would have to use time as a method. But then again, some rotations finish within 4 seconds, some rotations finish within 6, some rotations finish within 10. So then, you know, how do you balance that then? It just becomes a crazy mathematical equation in my head, just thinking about it and talking about it. So you can only get so close to that line. You can only get so close to that line when you have that balance, and that would be great. But even then, I'm telling you, because I've seen it happen, and even then in a healthy format, whatever's doing the most damage, there's people that are just going to gravitate towards it, you know. And all for the people that are trying to break the meta or break the game and trying to find out what's new and what's best, because that's how it, you know, gets to be what it is. In Magic the Gathering, they would call that net decking, you know. You could either you can go to the internet and find a deck and find a loadout. And yeah, you could say, oh, you're just running a loadout that you find on the internet. Hey, there's 2 things you could say about that, you know. Well, I don't even know. But I would say this. I've learned a lot from the internet. I've used loadouts from the internet that I've seen on YouTube's and other YouTubers, you know, put out there. But I've learned from them. I've learned if they're good. I've learned if they're bad. I've learned if I can change it up. But nevertheless, it kind of starts gravitating towards that pinnacle. If you look at it as a pyramid, you know, where that's the optimum loadout, and there's nothing, you can't do nothing else to that loadout to do more damage in the optimum situation. So then that becomes the standard. And if that, then all the standards get established by all the powers, and then those standards get compared. And then once that's established, even if there's a 2% difference, you're gonna have the best. You're gonna have the best power, and you're gonna have the worst power. But yeah, hell yeah, would be welcome if it was only a 2% difference and not fucking 30% margin like it is now, or who knows. It's crazy. I haven't played electric or nature, as they say, is doing bad damage or whatnot, but you know, I've been quite a few powers in the game, and let me tell you, when I was ice and the update hit and I was fucking seeing 12,000s flying off like it was nothing, you know, I was pretty impressed, you know. But I knew I had over too much power in my hands, you know. But fuck it, man. That's how you play the game. I mean, I was already the power. I didn't switch. But if you want to be the best, you want to be competitive, and that's how you're gonna be. You're gonna gravitate towards the best, or be the best at what you do. Because, you know, if you master at what you're good at, then, you know, there's much to say about that as well, especially in a game like DCUO. So, go check out Ventus's video. Comment on this one. Like, comment, and subscribe, y'all. I want to know what y'all think about balance in the game. Let me tell you, if I had a solution, I would propose it. But I try to reserve myself about talking about this subject because it's it's hard for me to logically complain about it without offering a solution, a sound solution, not just, what I want out of the game. You can go tell somebody, hey, go make me a car that flies. It's a little bit more difficult than it sounds. It's not just it's not like that. I can imagine. But thank you all for staying this long. Shit. I hope you enjoyed it, and there's more to come. So subscribe and take it easy, y'all. Jade out.